Welcome back to the college football week 6 betting locks and predictions. And let's start with a recap of last week. We went 4-3 with slightly more than units winnings thanks to our UCLA moneyline play over Washington on Friday night. We also got Washington State to go our way easily over Cal. Kansas beat Iowa State outright, and TCU also beat Oklahoma outright, so we profit on those. Our losses, Arkansas avoided the backdoor cover after being down 4 in the late third quarter. They absolutely choked that game after getting everything to go their way in the special teams portion. Iowa also choked on the 2-yard line to sell the cover in that game, and Baylor got very unlucky from the start against Oklahoma State, allowing a number of special teams mishaps, turnovers, etc. to affect them and cause them to lose that game. Looking to the overall record, we're down 2.6 units overall, and we're trying to recoup that this week with 7 more locks cooked up. I'll start with the teams that we had last week. So we've got Kansas money line again over TCU, another team that we had last week. I think that Kansas is the better team out of these two. They've sold out their last 2 home games. I think that they'll be able to pull this one out at home. Next, we've got Washington State on the road at USC, and I think this will be a good game. I think Washington State will keep it within the 11. Cam Ward has been great for this team, and I think USC has a very good offense. Obviously, they're top 3 in offensive efficiency, but their defense is in the mid-50s to 60s. I think that this game will stay close just because of USC's defensive ineptitude. It'll be more of a Big 12 showdown here. I think USC will prevail, but Washington State will stay inside that 11 as they are a very good football team. Moving on to another Big 12 showdown, we've got Iowa State moneyline against K-State at home. I think that Iowa State will have a vengeance this week after coming off of 2 straight losses for them. And they played Kansas pretty tough last week. It was a game in the mud. I don't know if that says that Kansas is really good or Iowa State was good enough to hang with them. I guess we'll see this week. Kansas State has been up and down recently. Obviously, they blew out Oklahoma and kept it going this week as well. So we'll have to see. Martinez has played good for them, but I think that Iowa State will win here as Baylor had a tough time at Iowa State, and I think Baylor's a bit better than Kansas State at this point, all things considered. Another Big 12 matchup, our third, is Texas against Oklahoma in the Red River Showdown. We're going to take Texas minus 5.5 with Ewers coming back. I have heard that he's coming back, and so I guess we'll see. Oklahoma's coming off 2 straight losses, and this is really just exposing Oklahoma as not being a very good team. They haven't really beat anyone. Of course, they blew out Nebraska, but that doesn't really say anything because Nebraska is a terrible football team. I think this Texas team will get it going on offense, and I think they will re-up their defense as well in a great effort in this rivalry game. These do always tend to stay close, but I think this one will be a shootout and Texas will prevail here. I don't even know if Dylan Gabriel will be able to play for Oklahoma, so this line could spread out. I'd say to buy it now. As for this Tennessee LSU game, I like LSU money line here. LSU is about +3 on their own turf. And while Tennessee has looked good, some of their wins are rapidly diminishing in quality. For example, Florida has already lost 2 games. Granted, they were against Tennessee and Kentucky, but LSU has beat a Florida State team that looked pretty good outside of this week's game against Wake Forest. LSU themselves have looked good outside of that game where they lost to FSU. So I'm going to take LSU here. Jaden Daniels and Brian Kelly have looked good at home in this SEC slate, and Tennessee's other win over Pitt where they went to overtime when Pitt didn't even have their quarterbacks. Pitt just lost to Georgia Tech, so that is crazy. So maybe we have to reevaluate this Tennessee team, especially on the road. Next up, we've got another Pac-12 lock, and this is the final one. We're taking the UCLA wagon again at home, and this pretty much mimics Utah's early loss against Florida. DTR and Charbonnet have looked great for UCLA. Strong run game. DTR can run it. He's a mobile quarterback, similar to Richardson at Florida. And this is a Utah team coming into a hostile environment. This is a ranked matchup. I'm surprised it wasn't game day, but, I can see that they put it at Kansas just because of the storyline that's developing over in Lawrence. Battle of undefeateds there. Battle of almost undefeateds here because of that Utah loss to Florida, and that is the thesis we're going with for picking UCLA money line. I think UCLA could win outright here. They looked very impressive against Washington. Another easy home game here. Our final lock is Louisville at Virginia. Louisville will be looking to bounce back after a tough game against Boston College, laying 3 in the hook. I think this one will be easy against a Virginia team that's quite frankly one of the worst teams in the Power 5. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and check out our college football playoff rankings predictions.